Hello, this is Tim with something a little bit different. This time it is Star Citizen, which is another space combat-y type thing that's coming out sometime soon-ish. This is my first play when I eventually got in, because I went through multiple connection errors like that. And then eventually I went to let my dogs out while it was loading one time, and when I came back I hadn't closed the connection error, and amusingly the hangar had actually loaded anyway. So all those times that I had been clicking OK to close the connection error, and it had dropped out of the software, when I just left it alone, it loaded anyway. So here's my fish tank, which I don't see the point in, but anyway, I have a fish tank. Picking up my helmet there, because otherwise you just go and get in this ship here and it doesn't do anything. And telling them that I'm going to use the ship, and then walking towards the steps there, but unfortunately, unlike almost every other game that has a set of steps, when you walk towards them you have to press use, and then you turn over towards the cockpit, awkwardly avoid the bars at the side, and press use again, and then there's this animation here of you getting in, and then pressing non-existent buttons that aren't there between the flickering textures. Okay, so here is Arena Commander. This is new as of today, and right now you can only do drone simulations, which is the blue button on the right. And you have options of taking on some drones, so you can attack others, or there's a free flight. And considering this was my first time flying one of these babies, I opted for a free flight, and going to kind of figure it out. Now, as this is loading, this is real-time loading, so I haven't cut any out. You can see how long the loading process was. On my machine. I have to tell you that one of the unbelievable things that that they've decided not to do is to give you the option to bind keys. Now, it's all very well and good if it's like a keyboard control game where everybody has a keyboard. You know, you can pretty much guarantee that if someone is playing a first-person shooter, for example, you know, they're going to have a mouse and they're going to have a keyboard, and you're going to be able to do the standard WASD, you know, controls, or the cursor controls, or, you know, whatever. But even those games, they will allow you to bind your own keys. Star Citizen, they've decided to release something that you can control without allowing you to set the controls. And I'm not quite sure I understand this thought process, but hey, I'm flying around here and doesn't it look gorgeous? You know, I made sure to leave this bit in because I thought the lighting effects here was spectacular. And just wanted to make sure that people realized that, you know, this is a very, very pretty game. They've done fantastic work there. It's just a shame that you can't bind your keys, which you know, is not that great, really. Anyway, I'm about to show you the overview options up at the top. There's overview, weapons, power, and shield. And now, if you look up at the top left, I've just changed to weapons, power, and oops, there we go. There we go. I'm on shield now, and you know, the hood and the overlays and everything. I really don't mind them. I think they look pretty good. I think it probably works better and looks better as well with a like a track IR, kind of following your head movements. But it looks like it works fine. I just wanted to end my free flight, so I thought I would fly into this just to see what happened. And apparently I stay still and my ship keeps going. So I assume there's going to be some kind of a spectacular explosion thing at some point that they'll implement in the software. Anyway, I'm returning to the hangar now because I want to do the
Welcome to Roberts Space
the
Industries.
combat against the drones.
Enjoy the ride. System check.
So I've switched over to the Vandal Swarm, which will essentially give multiple waves of targets that you have to destroy, and basically they it's similar to what you would get in any kind of game like this. The Elite Dangerous, one of the single player scenarios, was exactly the same. You know, there's waves of enemies coming towards you, and it's a fairly standard thing. You know, can you get through the last wave, and you know, basic stuff like that. This is real-time loading again.
Welcome to Roberts Space Industries. Enjoy the ride. System
Okay,
check.
so as you can see, I have a couple of wingmen called Vixen and Warlord.
Stand by. Scanning. Radar contact.
And there's 3 Vandal scavengers who have jumped
Stand
into
by.
this local area
Scanning.
here.
Stand by. Scanning.
And I'm still getting used to the controls. They're actually the opposite way around to how I would want them, with twisting the stick moves left and right. It's the yaw axis is to twist the stick when you're on the standard joystick profile, and moving the stick left and right is roll. So it's actually the opposite way around to what feels right to me that I have set in Elite Dangerous. So a lot of the time you'll see me having a target right in front of me, and I'm wanting to roll, and instead I'll just move to the left and the right. You know, so I actually move the target out of my target zone. So I make this combat last a little bit longer than it needs to. And I'm a little bit confused by the reticule, like the way that it will change green, because sometimes it seems like if it's green and you fire, it'll bend your fire towards them, and then sometimes it doesn't. But I think it's because there's 2 different sizes of green, and maybe when it's the large green it'll make it hit no matter what. I don't know, I really couldn't figure it out. Sometimes it seemed to hit, and then other times it didn't.
Enemy down.
So that's, I think that was my first kill, 2 minutes and 15 seconds in.
Stand by.
And
Scanning.
that one was interesting. It actually said at the top of the screen there that they committed suicide, which is an interesting way of highlighting the fact that your AI couldn't avoid an object, which is, I think, what actually happens. But it's an interesting notion to think that that your
Impact.
target would just fly into something on purpose. Which of course they didn't. They flew into it because they didn't avoid it, and then they've called it suicide because it wasn't a bullet that hit them that caused it. Here, having kind of a hard time getting this guy back in the target, but like I honestly think that if I had the controls set up the way that I wanted, I wouldn't have a problem keeping these guys right in front of my crosshairs, you know, the whole time. So second wave coming in now.
Radar contact.
3 Vandal scavengers, which I think is the same amount that came in last time. One thing I do find interesting is that I find myself very rarely looking at the radar, and I think the reason for that is because when they come in, they're within visual range, and you can just press to select, you know, nearest enemy, and that's it. There they are. And also because of the way that the flight dynamics are, which I'll expand on, you don't need the radar anyway. You can get them right back in front of you, you know, really quickly. And when they do go to the edge of the screen, you have an arrow telling you which direction they've gone in. So the radar, the circular radar at the bottom of the screen, is largely useless. If you look at the top now, you can see an arrow, and I just follow that to the target. So yeah, I don't find myself looking at the scanner or the radar, whatever it would be called, at the bottom of the screen there. Okay, that's the first kill from this wave, I think. Something weird that I'm surprised at the development state is, you know, shooting these guys here. When I was shooting him, then he just stopped in front of me, like my fire was somehow, you know, ripping open the fabric of space-time and stopping him from moving anywhere. And then yeah, and then when these guys turn too, it looks in no way realistic. You know, like he will be flying one direction and then he'll just instantly stop and then just start flying the opposite direction. And like I never have to really adjust my throttle from being 100% or anything like that. And it's just not as involved combat as I was kind of hoping it would be, and the flight model definitely isn't what would be my taste. You know, I'm not going to say that it's bad, because I am 100% certain that I'm going to play through the Squadron 42 scenarios, the single player scenarios, and I'm going to love them. And I'm going to love them for the same reasons that I loved the Wing Commander series. But the thing with the Wing Commander series is that it was almost more about the story than about you know, you're taking part in the story. You know, I felt engrossed in the characters, and you know, essentially just wanted to see what happened and was playing through the movie. And then contrast that with Elite, where I guess the only way to say this is that I was the movie. You know, with Wing Commander, it didn't feel like I was the main character in the movie. It felt like I was watching it. And with Elite, it was about me. So, you know, that's the different way that I see it. It's because with Elite, you form the story. You know, the story isn't formed for you. So that blackness that you saw right there is a symptom of the fact that that they do not let you bind your keys, which means that whenever you hold down the boost button, this is the default boost button, which is left shift. Does anybody who has Windows know what happens when you hold that down or tap it? Anybody? Anybody? It brings up the sticky keys option. Well done. So basically, the RSI guys have decided to set a controller, set a control that you use multiple times and that you will tap and that you will hold down to something that on a Windows system, being tapped and being held down opens up a window which minimizes their game. I think that's just awesome. But not in a good way. So anyway, as I'm flying around here, you know, I'm trying to look around too, and obviously the visuals are great, the sound is okay. I actually think the sound in Elite Dangerous is a little bit better. But the visuals are great. Not that I don't think Elite Dangerous can look like this, you know, with a certain environment, but I personally haven't seen an asteroid belt over this type of planet in Elite Dangerous yet, etc, etc. So here comes Wave 3. Gosh, that took a long time to get rid of Wave 2, didn't it? And this wave has 3 scavengers, the same as before, and also a Vandal Prime, which I'm going to make my target and try to take him out first.
Impact.
Still struggling ever so much here with these control bindings. And like here, I am flying straight towards a target, and I will invariably press the wrong thing. You know, on the joystick, when I mean to move right, I'll roll right, and when I mean to roll right, I'll move right, because these controls just don't feel right to me. But again, you can't change them without editing a file. Which 99.9% of players will not do, so I'm going to say you can't do it.
Warning. You are approaching simulation boundary. Approaching simulation boundary. Warning. You are approaching simulation boundary.
I'm not really sure what state the guys are in with their development as far as damage, but a lot of the time when you'll fire at one of these targets, all that seems to happen is that like a skin falls off, and you know, it's kind of like they're a snake shedding their skin, and it just looks horrible right now. So I'm kind of hoping that that they're really early in that development, because some of the effects in Elite Dangerous where you can target like the cargo hold of the ship, or the cargo hatch, and when you shoot out the cargo hatch, you'll have cargo falling out from the cargo bay. You know, that kind of level of attention to damage and having it visually represented too is you know, pretty amazing. I'm just not that impressed with how it looks in this yet. See, it's so confusing about the green you know, diamond shape in the crosshairs there. I mean, I was shooting at him, I had the green there, and it just, like, nothing hit him. So I don't really understand that. I'm struggling so much with these controls. And there, can you see? I mean, I'm firing at him and his reaction to me firing at him is to stop, just suddenly, unnaturally stop. And I don't really get that at all.
Enemy down. Impact.
Eliminated. Warning. There are multiple hostiles inbound.
Radar contact. Stand by. Scanning.
There, you see? That's literally like a skin came off. And there's me firing at the wrong... at the skin rather than, you know, rather than the ship. And that's my shields down, which... I don't know, is that the first time that's happened? And considering how crap I am at this, because I can't get used to these controls, I don't think that's that difficult.
Stand by. Scanning. Impact.
Looks like I'm getting a little bit more used to the controls at this point.
Scanning.
I feel quite comfortable actually when they're moving sort of laterally and I have to pitch to kind of keep up with them. And oh, again, I'm going to say it, you don't release something where people are being asked to control something without allowing them to set controls. It's just that simple. Setting up the UI to allow players to set their controls should have come before building something for them to control. It's just logical. to be that way. Not everybody has the same controller, can get used to the same controls, etc., etc. And I'm sure that, you know, version 0.9 or 1.0 will have it, but yeah, it just really affects my first impressions, and even my impressions of the team as a whole, that you know, that they must have obviously put a huge amount of time into the graphics and basic stuff like that, you know, isn't done. Yeah, it's just not good. Anyway, when the Kickstarter came up for Star Citizen, I was all over that. I thought it was fantastic. You know, I was really excited because you know, the only thing that I would have wanted really was something similar to Wing Commander that would give me the same kind of involvement, and I think Star Citizen is going to do that. I mean, I don't think that the combat model, if it stays the same as this, is, you know, to my taste, but the game itself might be. You know, I work for a company that makes racing simulations, and there's certain cars that I like and certain cars that I hate, and you know, they're both based on, you know, reality as much as we can do with a, you know, simulation, and where racing teams don't like to give you any information, you know, but there's just certain types of cars that suit me and certain types that don't, and that's within the same game, you know. So the fact that this flight model or this combat model doesn't suit me as much as the Elite Dangerous one seems like it does and will. Doesn't mean anything against this game. I'm still going to play this game, but you know, I think it will be just like I was with Wing Commander, where it's a playthrough and then that's it. So anyway, I feel like I've kind of finished whining about how I feel about these games, so I'm going to keep quiet for a bit and let you enjoy the sights and sounds, and I will start talking again towards the end of the video.
Stand by. Scanning. Stand by. Scanning. Impact. Impact.
We lost a friendly.
Enemy down. Impact. Stand by. Scanning. Impact. Enemy down. Stand by. Scanning.
Contact. Elite units en route.
Radar contact. Stand by. Scanning. Stand by. Scanning. Impact. Enemy down. Stand by. Scanning. Impact. Impact. Enemy down. Stand by. Scanning. Enemy down. Stand by. Scanning. Impact. Enemy down.
Elite units eliminated. Hold for automated repairs.
I'm back in the mix.
Warning. There are multiple hostiles inbound.
Radar contact. Stand by. Scanning. Impact.
Friendly down.
Impact. 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 Enemy down. Stand by. Scanning.
So, just rejoining you with some commentary now. That's all of the friendly forces that have been killed. And there's still 2 enemy targets for this wave, I think. So, all fire is concentrated on me right now. And the last little section of fighting actually, I've got to say, it kind of bored me a little bit. It wasn't that it was difficult, it was just annoying. And it's kind of, it's upsetting to see a brand new game or to feel a brand new game feel like that to me, because it definitely shouldn't. But yeah, as you can see, I've got used to the controls a little bit, but still struggling here and there.
Enemy down. Stand by.
Oh, it seems like there was 3, because this is the last one now. And I was kind of hoping that that this one would be the last wave, because I was done with doing this. You know, so as far as to sum up, I mean, for a first impression, visually stunning. There's a few really strange things, like the planet that's half buried in the side of the other planet here. But you know, whatever. But the damage effects don't really rate them high yet. I'm assuming they're still working on it. Sound, it's okay. It's nothing special to me. Difficulty, it's very, very easy to the point of being annoyingly easy. And the flight model, I prefer Elite Dangerous by a mile. So I was kind of done with it, and you know, just looking at the controllers here, seeing if I'd missed a way to bind these keys. Nope, they don't think people deserve to bind their keys. So that's it. I'm done already.